Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a super simple no knead Dutch oven bread. All you're going to need is 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of yeast, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1.5 cups of warm water. So we're going to go ahead and get started by adding our flour into our bowl. I'm going to be using my spurtle that my husband made to level off my flour. This is also good for stirring all the ingredients together. My husband and I have an Etsy shop where we sell some different things, wooden spoons and whatnot. So I'll leave that linked down below for you guys if you're interested in. But if you don't have something like this, I would just recommend using a wooden spoon. Now I'm going to be adding my salt. So it's going to be 2 teaspoons of salt. And I'm going to add my yeast. I buy my yeast at Sam's Club in bulk. I keep the unopened packages in the freezer, and then when I open a package, I put it in a mason jar and keep it in the fridge. So I'm going to be doing 2 teaspoons of yeast. Going to give that a real quick stir here. Just mix it up. Now I'm going to pour in my warm water. You don't want it super hot. I just say try to keep it around 110 degrees, but it's not super scientific. I'm going to kind of add a little bit and stir it, and then I'll add a little more and stir it. It's going to be a very wet dough. This is going to be a very rough dough. It's not going to look super pretty and smooth like a lot of bread doughs that you see. It's going to look very rough. And this, because we don't need this, if you have bread flour, I would use bread flour for it. It'll help develop the gluten in it and make a better bread. So here we have what it's going to look like. Very rough. So now that I've got it all stirred up, I'm just going to kind of scrape off the dough that's on my spurtle. Kind of scrape down the pieces, get it all together in there. It's not runny, but it's also definitely not kneadable. So now what I'm going to do is take a plate, just a glass plate, and cover my bowl. If you don't have a plate that fits your bowl, you could always use plastic wrap. So this is going to rise now for about 2 hours, double in size, in a warm place. It's okay if it takes longer or less time, just keep an eye on it. And then we're going to bake it. You could rise this bread and then put it in the fridge for up to 3 days. It'll help develop the flavor of it and make it really delicious. But you can also bake it immediately after rising it, which is what we're going to do today. If you decide to stick it in the fridge, just pull it out about an hour before you go to bake it. It's about double in size now, and it's got some nice bubbles developed on the top, so it'll look just about like this. I've got my oven preheated to 450 degrees with the Dutch oven in it, so when it started to look like it was close, I went ahead and turned the oven on and stuck the Dutch oven in, because you want that to preheat with the Dutch oven in it for about 30 minutes. So the next thing I'm going to do here is take a little bit of flour, and I'm going to sprinkle some flour here on my work surface. I'm going to take my dough, just kind of flip it out. It's going to be real loose, a little messy. That's okay. Just going to get it out onto that flour. Put some more flour on my hands. So what we're going to do here is just kind of turn it in to itself to make a little bit of a shape that we can move. get some of those air bubbles out. Sprinkle a little bit more flour on it. Just gonna kind of turn it into itself. And we're about to move it onto a piece of parchment paper, so this isn't super exact, just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to set the parchment paper here next to where I'm working. My hands are getting a little bit with stuff on, that's okay. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to kind of flip it over onto this. Alright, so now I'm just gonna try to kind of encourage it to be a bit of a circle. Okay, all right, that's basically it. A Dutch oven is important here because it allows the bread to create the steam. It keeps it from developing a crust too soon, so that once the crust develops, it can no longer rise. And so the Dutch oven creates steam to kind of stop the crust from developing too soon. That's why we're using a Dutch oven here. If you don't have a Dutch oven, you could put it on a tray and then put like a bowl or a pan of water, of hot water in there with it, and that would probably get a similar effect, but definitely if you have a Dutch oven, that's why we want to use a Dutch oven here. So now I'm going to pick up my bread with the parchment paper very carefully, making sure that my hand doesn't accidentally touch the sides of the Dutch oven. Kind of fixing the paper around it. Alright, now I always, a little tip, like to, when I take the lid off of my Dutch oven, set the pot holder over the, where you pick it up, the knob, to remind myself, because I have before not thought about it and reached and grabbed that lid with my bare hand, and that hurts. So now I leave the oven mitt sitting on top of it, and it reminds me that I need to use an oven mitt. So we're going to cover this up, put it back in the oven at 450 degrees covered for 30 minutes, and then we'll take the lid off and bake it for another 12 minutes, and I'll show you when it's all done. All right, the kids are out here playing. I'm sorry about that, but just pulled it out. It's done. It looks delicious. It's the bottom side. So we're gonna let it basically cool until all the rest of our dinner's ready, and then we're gonna go ahead and slice into it. It'd be better if you let it cool completely, but it's hard to resist bread when it looks that delicious. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed day. Bye, guys.